Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Ultimate Mind and Muscle podcast. I am thrilled to be your host. My name is Bobby and I have here Ryno, and we will embark on a journey through a dynamic world of Kyokushin Karate. With every episode, we will delve deep into the rich history, philosophy, techniques, and some stories that actually make this karate a truly remarkable martial art. So hi Reno.
Hi, Bobby. How are you?
Good, good. So let's start. Tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so I not too long ago moved to Singapore, 2021. Um, I originally come from a Shotokan karate background. I did that for years. I have a Shodan in Shotokan karate. I should have gone for my Nidan a while back, but kind of got stuck in Shodan for a while. And then always wanted to try Kyokushin, but never lived close enough to a dojo to be able to make class. Um, and when I moved over here, uh, they recommend Dojo Wu to me, and now I train at Dojo Wu. I am a second Kyo in shinkyokushin, so the under the WKO organization here in Singapore. And I'm hopefully, by the end of next year to go for my Shodan and Kyokushin.
Us. And
Us-
I think it's really fantastic to get some insight from you coming from me with no martial arts background. And I've only very recently taken up Kyokushin Karate. I've also enrolled into Dojo Wu, and I think just under my belt, I have close to about 1 year and 3 months of training. So
yeah, and
I think it's like I'm an infant, right, in martial arts.
I wouldn't say you're a complete infant. So, with the hard training of Kyokushin, I would say you are well on your way to become desensitized to the training and being able to tolerate more. Definitely what I've noticed from you in class, that's for sure.
Yes, thank you very much. So I think we know that Shin Kyokushin and I think in general martial arts, it's really very prominent in, let's say, historically. But now, we're moving to a very digital, a very tech-savvy age. But interestingly for Shin Kyokushin, there's still millions of people still practicing this around the globe. And I think one of the things that I did a little bit of reading on is that Shin Kyokushin is not just a physical practice, but it's also a way of life that emphasizes discipline, respect, perseverance, courage, self-control, and humility. Could you maybe share a little bit more about how these mottos help with, a person's everyday life, or what can someone expect if they were to take up Shin Kyokushin Karate?
I think for most people, the philosophy is very intriguing, but it's a very daunting process, more to just get your foot into the door. Because, as you know yourself, Kyokushin training is very, very hard. And we pride ourselves to that our philosophy is embedded in the hard training. So you kind of have to expose your character, you have to go through the training and then build upon those character flaws to make you not just a better hand-to-hand combatant, but also to make you a better human being, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that the hard training, the philosophy, I think, is definitely embedded in the hard training, and that's what Mas Oyama did as well. You'll realize when we dig a little bit deeper into the history at a later stage how he went up to the mountains to train in solitude. And he kind of built a philosophy from that, because that time he spent in the mountains, in the cold, in nature, under frozen waterfalls, is what actually desensitized him and exposed his human characters and made him a better fighter and human being.
And I think one of the things that I did read up on, and if we were to go even further back to that, Masuyama actually picked up a copy of the Book of Five Rings, the thing
From
it's
Miu,
Miyamoto
yeah,
Musashi, the
Musashi, yeah.
legendary warrior. So I think that there's a lot of things that we can actually uncover in this karate itself. So we know that Shin Kyokushin is a karate style, and more importantly, the philosophy of Shin Kyokushin is centered around the concept of Kyokushin, which means the ultimate truth.
Yes. So through the hard training, it comes back to that. You will eventually discover what you will see as the ultimate truth, as what ultimately your purpose in life is through hard and audacious training.
Mm, 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 mm. Okay. And in this ultimate truth itself, can I look at it from maybe a little bit more abstract? We're talking about philosophy, right? How is this
Mm-hmm.
ultimate truth applicable to a random person on the street? How is this ultimate truth applicable to different people that we meet? Is
I
there
think
truth?
people are not always sorry, you were I stopped you there for a second. You were gonna say something else.
Oh, no, no. Just wanted to ask, like, is their truth different from our truth because we practice karate?
Well, I guess that kind of that depends on the individual and what kind of person they are. In the beginning, when people start Kyokushin, I think what they expect is that they're very, very nervous. So a lot of them. So they expect that, there is going to be a lot of pain. But as you've noticed in the beginning, it is kind of, you have to force yourself kind of to stay calm. Of course, that is actually what carries you through the class. So I think for the average individual, ultimate truth is kind of searching for what that person's purpose is in daily life, and that how this philosophy can apply to him on a daily basis. So I think when they hear ultimate truth in the beginning, they think it will be hidden techniques or the ultimate martial art. But at the end of the day, it's it's more of an ultimate truth in a search, in the sense of a search. It's a journey. It's a journey you have to undertake yourself to find out who you truly are as an individual and as a human being. Does that make sense, or is that a
Nice,
little bit
nice.
convoluted?
Yeah, I think it once again, I'm asking from a very abstract point of view because I think one of the key principles which you've just mentioned about Shin Kyokushin philosophy is to always strive for perfection. And correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing is, it's not just in martial arts, but in every single aspect in your life.
Or in all facets of life, yes. Whether you are a fighter pilot doing Kyokushin, or whether you work in sanitation doing Kyokushin, it is striving to do everything as perfectly as you can on a daily basis, and
Mm.
leaving your ego at the door, and knowing that you are doing something to benefit others and yourself.
Very, very nicely put. So can I in a way paraphrase it and feel free to jump in and really just correct me if I'm wrong, that if people
Sure.
are able to apply the principles of Kyokushin karate in real life, these people would be able to develop a sense of purpose, find their own direction, and ultimately leading them to lead a more fulfilling life.
Yeah, exactly. So it basically, in the dojo, if you do not like something, you are kind of forced to do it in a sense. And if you can't do it, the dojo will help you. If you
Mm.
don't want to do it, the dojo will in a very subtle way make you do it. And that, I think, afterwards, when people when their self-confidence start getting better, and they feel less insecure, they kind of automatically apply this philosophy to daily life, whether they are traders or whether they, like I said, working in sanitation, or whether they are a fighter pilot,
Mm-mm.
a soldier, a MP, any of those
So they're more
professions.
confident, they're better, they can better fulfill their job requirements as well.
Kyokushin builds a lot of confidence, and it does it pretty quickly, as you've realized yourself as well in the last year, because you can tell your sensei or your instructor or your assistant instructors, your senpai, and the rest of your peers, you can tell them no one day and they'll accept that. But eventually, you are going to have to embark on it, because otherwise you won't experience what they currently experiencing. And you see that in all new students. They come in and they go through the movements, they struggle, and you tell them to do their first kumite bout, and it's a lot of flailing, and they're very, very terrified, and they're running all over the place.
Mm-mm.
And then you calm them down and you take them aside and you give them a few things to practice, but they will always try, or they always look in the corner of their eye of what the other people were doing, what they were just doing. And the whole experience of the class and how the class is structured kind of forces them to join and keep trying. Because in the beginning, everyone walks in there with a very they have to succeed. They can't lose face for a minute kind of
Mm-mm.
mentality. But then as they realize they are beginners, and they realize, well, the others also took time to get to where they were. And it's not just about winning all the time. It's also about making yourself developing courage, so to speak. I don't want to just focus in on the pain tolerance aspects of this, because that's kind of like a byproduct.
Yeah.
But from of course, we're sticking to philosophy now, so I don't want to get sidetracked. So it kind of forces you to develop courage.
So maybe let
So
me just ask you this as well.
mm-hmm.
Knowing with your fantastic background and experience in karate, what was it like the first time you took up karate? And I really don't know how long ago that was, but my sharing would be when I first took up karate about 1 year, 3 months ago. And it was the first time I actually attended a karate class. The first time I actually went to a dojo. I went to Dojo Wu, and it was a very, very intriguing experience for me. You know, people were very friendly, people were very helpful, they were guiding you. And it's not like what you see on TV, you know, it's like people messing with you, pushing you down and like beating on you and saying, hey, you're crap and stuff like that. But it's a lot more supportive. Maybe you can share a little bit
It's very
about
supportive.
your mm.
Yeah. No, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, it's very, very supportive. But when I started, I was basically still a child. So I started when I was 10 years old.
Wow.
And I had a little bit of experience before I walked into an actual dojo, because my biological father used to do karate as well. So he kind of gave me like an introduction to that. And so when I walked in, I knew some of the names and I knew some of the movements and everything. But as a child, I was really tiny and skinny, very, very timid. And so I felt like I think by the second session I was in tears, because it was tough and I wasn't physically gifted at that point. Karate kind of turned me into a more of a physical specimen over the years. But for me it was quite scary, because I walked in there, and even as a child I thought I knew a little bit, and the sensei did show that he was he was impressed that I knew a few things. But I think I didn't expect the actual impact of it. It felt like, you back at school getting bullied again. But then afterwards you realize, well, nobody's mad at you. They actually, this is there to help you. I think as a child, it took me a long time to grasp. I think for an adult, it's easier to grasp because you're already mature. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was my personal experience, but you can see that in any person that walks in the beginning. Only it for an adult it'll be a shorter period than it is for a child, because a child obviously don't have that life experience. But an adult, in the beginning, I mean, you've seen with some of the other newcomers with us, they walked in there and it's almost like they that they feel like they stick out like a sore thumb. They feel like they don't know anything, and they feel very, very, very intimidated. But then as soon as that light bulb goes off, that actually everyone here is here to help you. It's it's organized violence. It's not as bad as it is. Yes, you get a little bit black and blue in the beginning, but then after a while it's not as bad as it is anymore. And then as soon as that light bulb goes off, they like, oh, okay, but this is not just about the combat. It's also about being able to apply it to my daily life, like my job and my family, relationships and etc.
So let's say if I were to summarize it in one sentence, the philosophies of Kyokushin Karate helps build character. What say you?
Yes, it helps. I would say yes. It helps you to build character, and it helps you to develop as a human being, I would say, as well.
So let's look at this person, the founder of Kyokushin Karate, founded by Masoyama in 1964. And once again, the translation of Shin Kyokushin is the new ultimate truth. And once again, this style of karate really emphasizes on a lot more hard style karate, physical toughness, endurance, stamina, practicality in combat, which is kumite. And it's also kind of known for its rigorous training and the intensity of the kumite sparring sessions. What can you tell me a little bit more about Masoyama? You shared a little bit just now, and I'm so sorry to cut you off. How is this person relevant in today's terms?
So what I've gathered from the people that trained under him, the few that I've met, that I've had the opportunity to meet, is that he was from Korean descent. He was born in Korea, and he grew up on his sister's farm in Manchuria, and that's where he got his first experience of martial arts. I think it was the 18 hands, which is a form of Chuanfa, or Japanese Kempo, first method, if you want to translate it directly from Mandarin Chinese or Japanese. And the 18 hands is a very, very old method of Chinese martial arts. So I think his base wasn't that. And then when he grew older, when he left Manchuria, I think he wanted to, before World War II, he wanted to join the Air Force in Japan to become a kaiten, which is a kamikaze pilot. And so he moved to Japan and took on the name Masutatsu Oyama. I think his original Korean name was Choi Bae-do, but I could be pronouncing that wrong, so forgive me. And after he joined when he wanted to join the Air Force, he had a lot of friends that were kamikaze pilots that passed away and so on, and he kind of developed a bit of a rage inside of him. So he started practicing karate. I think he what I've gathered is he trained under Gishin Funakoshi's son, or Yoshitaka Funakoshi, and he trained under Shojan Miyagi from Goju-ryu, or one of his students. I'm not sure if it was directly Shojan Miyagi, so I don't want to say it was definitely him. But he had the two base arts of Goju-ryu and Shotokan as well. And he combined the two with his knowledge of the 18 hands to develop his system called Kyokushin. So eventually, as his friends were passing away in World War II, he got into a lot of fights, obviously with the American GIs, because at the time the two countries were not allies. And he got in so many fights, which was hard fights using karate, that a picture of him was plastered all over the police station walls.
Wanted posters.
And what I've gathered also, that's one of the reasons why he went out to the mountains as well, because obviously they wanted to avoid being detained as well. And then he spent the period in the mountains where he trained extremely hard and put himself through a lot of hard, put himself in a harsh environment to build up his character, which eventually happened. And then when he came back after his time in the mountains, he kind of challenged people from different martial arts systems, especially in the Japanese Budo realm. He challenged them, and 90%, or I think 99% of the time, he was victorious against them. So that's a little bit about Mas Oyama in a nutshell. So a lot of people think he was Japanese, but he was Korean. And he also he was also friends with Choi Hong-hee, who we all know is the one of the founders of modern Taekwondo. A lot of people don't know that, but he actually is, and they were friends as well. So a lot of the kicking has been changed because he took things that he learned from Choi Hong-hee to help develop the kicks of Kyokushin as well, the nice high and circular kicks, which is so prominent in Kyokushin as well.
Okay. And honestly, that's a lot of information that I don't think I've ever encountered before, because the only thing I know about what you shared about Mas Oyama, there's actually a movie made called Fighter in the Wind, which actually I don't think a lot of people know that it's about Mas Oyama, and they don't know it's about Kyokushin. I do know about the GI fights and everything. I'm sure they dramatized it a lot, but it's interesting to hear that, this is a real character, a real legend. And Mas Oyama has actually, in the movie itself, made a very, very big impact to those people around him as well. He believed that true martial arts is not just about physical strength, even though he was blessed with a superb physique. He also focused on discipline, morality, and of course, spirituality, humility. Yeah. So karate to him was more than just a means of winning fights. It's a way to achieve better self-improvement, self-realization.
It's a true path, or do, or way, as they say in Japanese martial arts, or in Budo. It's a way of life, like you just said.
Okay, and a very interesting way for you to bring that up. Let's say if we have someone who is looking to do karate, what can they expect? And, in a nutshell, what is it that helps get them to the next level?
In Kyokushin specifically, to get to the next level, because a lot of people don't realize this, as soon as you quit Kyokushin, especially if you quit for more than 6 months, they take you back to beginner, to white belt, and you work your way up again. And that's what I did. So I took off my Shotokan black belt and I put on crisp a white belt, and that didn't bother me because I always wanted to try the system. But one thing that they should expect is it's very, very overwhelming in the beginning, but consistency is key. People around you, your peers, and definitely the instructors do understand that it's overwhelming. If you are very, very sore after which you will be after the first session, it is imperative that you come back within at least 48 hours so you can get your body used to it, to moving that way again. It's very, very rare, contrary to popular belief, that you get injured on the get-go. It's very rare that happens. Most injuries, severe injuries I've seen in the dojo is mostly muscle strains and soft tissue injuries. Sometimes there will be ligament and tendons, but it's very, very rare. Those injuries tend to happen in competition. So if you are going to be a competitive fighter, that's where you will encounter that more. So I think people should be put that worry aside. No, I mean, accidents do happen, and you are going to be, it's going to be sore in the beginning, but the thing that you should do when you walk in and what you should expect, yes, the training is hard, but expect that they are going to ask you to come back as soon as you can. Of course, the consistency is key to make it to the next level.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. If I may just have one small little request, before we end today's session, do you have something, maybe some words of wisdoms or some little nuggets that we can share with people who are thinking of taking karate, thinking of joining Kyokushin, thinking of looking up where to go and, maybe joining us here in Dojo? Do you have something to share with them?
Well, first of all, if they want to start, they should get in touch with either me or you, and so we can point them in the right direction. So in the chat box, wherever that is, if just type your details in, and we'll have a look, and or whether we are putting this on YouTube or whatever social media platform we're going to use, TikTok. You can always in the comment section, just contact us there, and we will get back to you, and we can point you to the right people, to our sensei, who we'll talk about as well, Jimmy Lim, great guy. Don't be afraid to start. All right. I know it looks very, very overwhelming. You see these matches on YouTube and you think, oh, no, I'm going to get brain damage. No, you're not. You're going to be fine. And what you can expect is you will get fit very, 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 very quickly, because of the hard training, and there's a lot of conditioning. You build stamina extremely quickly, as you've realized yourself as well. I mean, you do huff and puff a little bit in the beginning, but I'm telling you, 2 months in, and the warm up is you breeze through it, and you become a lot more flexible as well. So do not be afraid, because everyone else who's near your level as well were all afraid as well, and some of them still are. But just know that your instructors and your peers will make sure that you are okay. They are not going to force you to do something that will compromise your livelihood, so to speak, because that's what a lot of people think. They think it's very, very militant, and it is strict. We do have certain formalities that we adhere by, but it's a very, very friendly environment. I mean, Kyokushin, I think some of the friendliest karateka I've ever met in my entire life, and I have studied numerous disciplines. And the friendliest karateka I've ever met all come from Kyokushin background. All of them.
Oh,
They are all very, very humble, and they are very, very, very friendly. So do not be afraid. That's the main thing. The big, like I said, the biggest fear for everyone who I've spoken to, and especially Bobby, is getting your foot through the door.
Yeah, the first step. The first step
The first
is
step.
so difficult. And I think it doesn't just end there itself because in order to take the first step, you need to know which direction you're going. But there's so many options. Like you mentioned that there's like different styles of karate. There's like Shotokan, Goju Ryu. And what is it that would make people consider Kyokushin? I think we talked about the philosophies, we talked about how it helps develop character, make people stronger physically, mentally, emotionally. Maybe I just want to ask you, like, what would be a great pull factor to join Kyokushin Karate?
I think it's I think it's the way they see other people develop, because you do make progress very quickly. But the reason you make progress quickly, really very quickly, is because we train very, very hard. But people do progress quickly, and I think that's the big thing that brings that intrigues people to Kyokushin. Also, we teach techniques that work, that you can actually apply, and it's been proven in different rule sets in
Mm,
competition as well
mm,
as in real life as well. There's many people I can refer people to that have proof of how it works. So I think the biggest pull factor is the fact that people can see that other people make progress, and they definitely then realize, okay, if I stick with this, I am gonna make progress. There's no way that I can go backwards, because the system and the way the classes are structured is very, very unique, and
mm,
it's very,
mm,
very
mm.
well done, and it's done in such a way that it kind of forces your body to adapt.
Great. So let's save that for our next episode, and we'll talk a little bit
Okay.
more about the class breakdown. What can people expect? And yeah, I'm very happy to talk a little bit more about it. Hearing your experience, hearing your journey, and you sharing this wisdom, this small little nuggets of wisdoms, and even the history and background of karate. I think this is a very good insight for people, but let's just keep this casual and see where it goes. And who knows, maybe we'll get a good following of people. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ryno, for joining today's podcast,
Thanks
The
for having me.
Ultimate Mind and Muscle.
All right. See you guys soon, and I hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to talking again, Bobby. Thank you.
Us.
Us.